Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you kind of almost late this morning. Well, yeah, pretty much late this morning for a album review. And this is for a new album review for the Pretty Reckless's new album, Death by Rock and Roll, that I just got done listening to. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this album and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this review. Now, I gotta say, most of the songs were pretty awesome, but when you get closer to the end of the album, that's where it starts to get a little less interesting. But I'll get to that in a moment. To pretty much talk about most of the songs, I like Only Love Can Save Me Now. It's a really good one. I gave that a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed that song. It was like 5 minutes and some seconds. So most of their songs are pretty lengthy, and this is a 50-minute album. But Taylor Momsen's voice is. I'm getting used to it now after hearing much more of her singing in certain songs. But yeah, the title track is really good. I really like that one. It's a great start to the album. And then you get into Only Love Can Save Me Now, and that was a pretty good one. I think you guys are gonna like the second track on the album. And So It Went, featuring Tom Morello, was a really awesome one. I really like that. That definitely rocks for sure. 25, mm, it's alright. Not my favorite track. I did review it, I think, about 2 months ago, if I remember correctly. Uh, when I did that and Death by Rock and Roll track reviews, if you want to go check out my video for that. And this track was solid. Uh, some of Taylor Momsen's voice definitely, she couldn't hit those high pitched notes, but she hit them in falsetto towards the end of the song. And I was a little let down by that, but sorry for my yawning for a moment. Uh, but 25 is not a bad song. I'm getting used to it after more listens of it, but it's not a bad song. So I gave that a 4.5 out of 5. Even when I reviewed it, if you want to go check out my video for that I made a few months ago or a month or two ago. But yeah, the next song after that is My Bones, and I really like that one. It's a really good one. It starts off pretty basic with the drums really drumming out for a bit, and the drum work sounds really good in this song. And then it gets a lot faster towards the second half of the song, and I really like that. Then you get to Got So High, and that one kind of let me down a bit, but not as much. Um, Broomsticks was really weird. It was only 38 seconds. Not 38 songs, 38 seconds, I meant to say. It was a weird one with how Taylor's singing it. And her vocal performance in most of this album is pretty good, but uh, it's the way it executes the songs is my biggest concern. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Next song after Broomsticks is Witches Burn, and that was pretty good. I really like that one. There was one lyric that kind of made me cringe a bit, and I was like, ugh, okay. I'll fuck you for a price or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I've heard this album maybe about 2 or 3 times now, so it's getting, it's an okay listen, but it's not something I'd go crazy over. Uh, which I did pre-order the album. I spent like $20 on the album for the pre-order. But I'm just not gonna return it. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just keep the album. But Standing at the Wall was not a bad song. It's a good listen. Taylor's vocal performance towards the end of the song sounds really nice. And Turning Gold, I actually like that one. Rock and Roll Heaven was pretty solid, but not very well executed. And the reason why is because the overall sound of it, it's very acoustic. That's what you're gonna be hearing when you hear it. And it just didn't do well over me. I just had some cringy moments listening to it. Like, it sounds like a country rock song for a moment. But mostly Harley Darlin' definitely does. It sounds country rock, and I don't like it. I think it's average, but it's not the best song in the world. It's not something I'd go crazy over. It's just a song that's there for the album to close, but it didn't close the album very well. But overall, I think the Pretty Reckless's new album, Death by Rock and Roll, may have needed a little bit of work, but still, it's something. It's something we got for the beginning of the year. And uh, even if I wanted to cancel my order, it's kind of too late now, so because the album drops tomorrow, and I should be getting it sometime in the day or two after it releases, so probably by Monday or Tuesday I'll get it. But first score, I think I'm gonna give Pretty Reckless's Death by Rock and Roll a good rating of an 8 out of 10. It's a good album, it's just I don't really like the last song, and it sounds country rock, and country rock is not my favorite genre. It's all right, but it just really sounds very southernish with how Taylor's singing the song, and it just ugh. I don't know, I felt distasteful when I was hearing that song. Like, my taste in this kind of genre is not very likable, but it's an alright song. It's average. That's all I can say. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 for Harley Darlin'. But definitely comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the new Pretty Reckless album, Death by Rock and Roll, if you've heard it. And if you like this album review, this new album review I made for you guys late this morning, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can, support the channel. I'm not saying that this album is bad. I was going to originally give it a 7.5, but considering that I've listened to it about 3 times now, I'm getting used to it. Most of the songs are good, but when you get to the very last few songs, that's when it starts to die down and doesn't sound very impressive towards the end of the album, and it's just there, but it could use a lot more work. I think this album could have used a lot more work for the last few songs. But I will be returning to you for the Love and Death Perfectly Preserved album review. I'm actually trying to find the first song for the Love and Death album for Perfectly Preserved, called Infamy. I'm still trying to find it. It's a bitch to find that song, but I'll eventually find it. It's just gonna take some time. And I'll be doing Florida Georgia Line Life Rolls On album review. I know I don't really want to, but I know you guys want to see me do a reaction of it, and you probably know what I'm gonna rate it if it sucks. But we'll find out and see how it sounds. Uh, well, I'll find out and see how it sounds, I meant to say. But I hope you did enjoy this album review for the Pretty Reckless Death by Rock and Roll. The album review I made for you guys late this morning. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. And hopefully you guys can, if you guys do like the album, that's great. I did pre-order it, and I spent like $20 on it, which was not cheap. I I had the money at the time to do it, so I was like, fuck it. But yeah, I don't even know if I want to keep the album. But I like majority of the songs, so I guess I probably will. Definitely stay safe. Take care. Sorry for dragging this video out pretty long. And I'll definitely see you in my next review.